So it's going to be interesting, you know. And the question is, and people have been asking me, you know, how do you beat Jon Jones? I don't know. It's never been done, you know. I was saying yesterday that one on his record isn't a loss. He didn't lose. An incompetent referee didn't know what he was doing, and that's why he has the one there. A lot of people don't realize that Jon Jones is undefeated, and he's fought the toughest guys, you know, in the world at 205 pounds, and he's made it look easy. So, Chael's got his work cut out for him on Saturday.
If he loses?
Chael?
Yeah.
I think he can. If that's what he chooses to do, he can. He has enough money, and Fox loves him, you know. You're going to probably see him doing all kinds of different sports over at Fox. They love him. So.
Dan, how disappointing is it that you're doing a press conference at the Garden, but you can't
but not at the Garden?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, you know, it is what it is now. I don't get all crazy about it, you know. We know why we're not here. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic. But what are you going to do?
Dana, if it doesn't get legalized, will the UFC think about using a third party to sanction to have an event in New York anyway?
No, we would never do anything. We'd never do anything sneaky. Or we're either going to get sanctioned here or not.
So you only do it if it becomes legal?
Yeah, we'll only do it if the government, you know.
Does it argue that kickboxing and Muay Thai are legal here in Madison Square Garden in New York City, but not MMA?
Yeah, well, you guys, it's a culinary union, you know? Culinary union bust a bunch of people up to Albany last week to try to protest up there. You know, it's 100% the Las Vegas Culinary Union. You know, what's funny is they send all these letters to New York and you know, to the politicians, to all these activist groups and all these other things. How come they don't do that in Las Vegas? They're the Las Vegas Culinary Union, yet they don't send any letters around Vegas.
Already legal there.
Right. Well, does it make sense? But if this thing is so bad, like they're saying, this thing is horrible for society, you know, why aren't they sending letters to Las Vegas? Because everybody would laugh them out of the city. That's why.
Dana, what about, there's a state representative here, Liz Kruger, on the Upper East Side. She came out and pushed for a moratorium on fighting here, and basically said that it's inhumane, that it's misogynistic, that people like yourself use foul language, that commentators use foul language, and that basically mixed martial artists are barbaric. What do you say to her?
She's uneducated about the sport. Yes, I do use foul language. I'm a grown-up. I can say whatever I want to say, you know? I love when, you know, you have a politician like her trying to police how people talk and what they say and how they should say it. Mind your business, lady. You know what I mean? And as far as these fighters, educate yourself on who these people are and what they do and what we do, what our company does for you know, we do a lot of good things. And, you know, for a woman who's completely uneducated, listen, if you don't like fighting, I understand that. Nobody's asking you to like fighting. But so what, you want this thing to go away and you want all these people to not make a living? And, you know, this is what they're passionate about, this is what they love, and this is what they do for a living. You know, I think we have enough problems in this country right now with you know, jobs and many other things for a politician to be trying to put more people out of work.
Economically, what does it do for New York City to bring a fight here?
Economically, not only New York City, let's talk about New York State. You know, the UFC will go into places like Rochester and Buffalo and Syracuse, and we're not just going to come to New York City and come to the Garden. We're going to go all over this this state, and it would be huge. It would be a huge economic impact. Miss Kruger, was that her name? Start worrying about, you know, bringing jobs to New York and not squashing more jobs.
Can you elaborate on the Mitrione suspension? The 2 week, now he's not suspended?
What about it?
Said it was suspended, and today came out that he was released from suspension. It's only been 2 weeks, so it kind of wasn't really a suspension.
Yeah, no, we haven't done anything yet. We fined him, but other than that.
How much?
A lot. Enough to make him call me 40 times and ask me not to charge him, fine him that much.
Where will that money go? Will it be like donated, or?
I'm gonna go to dinner.
Dana, why are you not as confident now about MMA being legalized here?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm over it, man. It's just ridiculous. I mean, every time we get more votes than we got last year, and it's just, you know, it's just to the point now where it's just absolutely ridiculous. And I'm over it.
What do you think of the theory that it's not being passed because you guys are spending so much on lobbying? that basically it's being held up to extract more money from you guys because you guys are coming around and you guys are throwing around a lot of cash in terms of lobbying?
No, I think that's ridiculous. Trust me, that's not why it's being held up. It's being held up because the Culinary Union of Las Vegas is that powerful here in New York.
What about the scope of MMA in New York in general, not just it being legalized, but from the early Zuffa days up until now, what are the differences you've seen with the gyms and the individuals that are all involved?
Well, not just here in New York, but all over the world. I mean, since we bought the UFC and started taking this thing all over the world, it's big everywhere. And going back to the politician Kruger, I mean, this is the new martial art. This is what children are taking. This is what women are taking all over the world. Men, women, children. It's not going anywhere. It's not. So,
if John wins Saturday, ties Tito, most title defenses in the division, could you compare, each of their reigns, Tito versus John, and just
what's the question?
Well, compare John's title reign to Tito's. If John wins, they'll both, be tied for most title defenses.
Yeah. No matter what I say, this is it's going to sound like I'm smashing Tito because of me and Tito, but the competition that John Jones has faced in the last year and a half, in the light heavyweight division was far tougher than what Tito faced at the time when he was the champ, and John Jones is undefeated. So, I mean, Tito has that record because he was here for so long. You know what I mean? John Jones is doing it in almost 2 years. It's pretty amazing. I don't even think you can compare the two.
Dana, I know you haven't had a chance to talk to GSP yet, but he said this week it would be easier for him to go to lightweight than to move to middleweight.
Somebody told me that yesterday. That's interesting. Ben Henderson will be happy to hear that.
Do you get the sense, it just seems like he keeps talking about this. I mean, do you get the sense he doesn't want the Silva fight, or is it just posturing? Or?
No, it could be. I mean, at one point before his knee, he wanted that fight. So, I don't know where his head's at now. I mean, saying he'll go down to 55, he's a pretty big dude. It's interesting.
There are people saying that his head is anywhere but Johnny Hendricks, though. I mean, can you respond to that about it?
Well, it's going to have to be. I mean, he's going to have to get his head into it. I mean, that's who he's going to fight. If he doesn't want to do a super fight, I mean, nobody's going to pressure him to do a super fight. That's up to him. But Johnny Hendricks is next.
Do you have a timeline for
and
that?
Soon.
Soon?
He's next and soon, yeah. So.
How soon?
Soon. I don't know, like, yeah, maybe in August. Yeah.
So that's definitely what's next for GSP?
What's that?
That's definitely what's next for GSP. The Hendricks fight is definitely what's next.
I don't know. I haven't talked to him. That's why I say to talk about any of this stuff just doesn't. I haven't talked to him. And then now I'm hearing this crazy 155 stuff. I don't know.
Would you put that on free TV? A GSP
What?
fight?
He's the biggest pay-per-view guy on the planet, right? That would hurt. That one would sting.
How about John Jones? Well, because yesterday you said that the Fox Sports 1 debut would take it to your pay-per-view, so you kind of make that connection. August is Fox Sports 1.
Yeah, we're going to put on a great fight. We'll see what it ends up being. The GSP one would sting. That would be a stinger.
Jones said earlier he wants to fight in the Fox card too. So.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. I hope Fox is going to pay him. Yeah, the problem is you start getting, these type of guys on free TV. It's a lot of money.
With Boston coming up in August, I know you talked last week that you were planning to go up there and do some stuff with some of the victims and things like that. Have you guys thought that far ahead to what some of the fighters might do in terms of outreach in the community in Boston when you guys come to town?
No, I mean this thing in Boston for me, I'm going there tomorrow night after the fight, or Saturday night after the fight. It's just really personal for me. I don't know. It impacted me big time, and I'm gonna fly in there Saturday after the fight, and I'm meeting. I literally just talked to, on the ride here, I talked to the best friend of the dad that lost his son and the little girl, and I'm gonna go meet with them. I'm gonna meet with Mayor Menino on Monday, and it's pretty cool. Fox gave me some money too. Fox is kicking in some money for this thing. The UFC is kicking in some money, and I'm spending money personally too. So I'm excited to go.
Does the show take on maybe more of a significance now? You know, when you do go there to put on the big.
No,
week?
it was always. I mean, this show is always a big show for us. It's the launch of Fox Sports 1. It's it's in Boston, which is fun for me. But this whole thing has just been really terrible. I mean, when this kind of stuff, you guys know. I mean, anybody here who is a New Yorker and lived in New York, I mean, look at what happened here, and then it happens. When it happens in your hometown, it's just crazy. You know, I think about all the times that I went to the marathon, and it's a holiday, kids are off school. You know, it's just so cowardice.
The Fox Sports 1 launch, will that be sort of similar to GDS versus Kane? Like, will it be the big, pageantry leading up to it, the red carpet, everything?
Oh yeah. We're doing all kinds of. Fox has big, crazy plans for that week. Not only the fights in Boston, but we're doing a ton of cool stuff in New York too. And actually, that weekend it's a great weekend because Patriots have a game on Fox on Friday. It's a preseason game, and then Saturday, the day of the event, the launch on Fox Sports 1, the Red Sox play the Yankees.
Yep.
So, pretty cool weekend.
Will there be a title fight on the Fox Sports 1 card?
I haven't even made the card yet. I mean, a couple more fights still need to happen, and we'll build the card. But I'm telling you, it's going to be the best television card we've ever done.
Do you know what are we going to do future-wise with numbering of these cards? What are we going to tighten in the future? It's going to be UFC and Fox Sports 1, 2. You know?
We try to stop numbering it. You guys keep numbering it. The fans or somebody keeps numbering it. I don't know who keeps doing it, but yeah, no, we're not numbering them. I want to start using the main event as the you do like John Jones versus Chael Sonnen on Fox Sports 1, something like that. But I'm trying to get away from the numbers. I've been trying to get away from the numbers for 13 years. They keep sticking.
You need to get some Photoshop then. Photoshop the 159 off the.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, not the pay-per-views. The pay-per-views. I'm talking about the TV fights. Yeah. Because Fox Sports 1-1, Fox Sports 1-2. You know what I mean?
Did you say yesterday that you ran in, or you saw Randy, or came across him a month and a half ago?
Yeah, no, I was at dinner at the Mandalay Bay, and he was there at the table.
Did you both just look down, or did you acknowledge each other or anything?
No.
Okay.
I don't look down. No.
How much would New York and Connecticut mean to the UFC's bottom line?
How much would it mean? Yeah. First of all, just getting into New York, doing an event in New York is huge. It's if you look at all the things that we've accomplished over the last 13 years and a lot of the milestones, going into the Garden's a big deal. You know what I mean? It's a big deal holding an event here, holding an event in this city. That means more to us than what's it going to mean to the bottom line. I mean, we can do fights anywhere in the world. We do. We go everywhere. I mean, at the end of the day, is our business going to be affected by not being in New York? No. It doesn't affect our business one bit. But we'd like to do a fight in the Garden, and it affects New York. It affects the state. I mean, just in ticket tax alone, an event here. In ticket tax alone, it's something like $650,000 just in ticket tax. It would mean to the city. It's crazy, and that doesn't include. You imagine a fight. First of all, the fight that we would put on here would be huge. People will fly in from all over the world, stay in hotels, they'll go to restaurants, they'll shop, and the ticket tax and all the economic impact on this city will be huge. And like I was saying earlier, we're going to go to other places too, like Rochester. And imagine if we did a fight up in Buffalo. How many people are going to come down across the border from Canada for that Buffalo event? A lot of people. It's going to really impact places like Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester. It's ridiculous.
You had a date reserved for the 20th anniversary at MSG. Did you release that date as of yet?
I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
Speaking of all over the world, any updates on Tough India, Tough Russia, any other Ultimate Fighters?
Yeah, but I can't talk about it right now. Ask Ariel Hawani. Apparently, he has all the information.
Ariel? No comment.
Dana, when you say you're over New York, does that mean you guys might not put as much money and time into trying to get it legalized here?
No, we're still working on it. I mean, we're still working. I mean, Lorenzo spent the whole day up in Albany the other day, and he spent the whole day in Albany talking to non-supporters, people who don't support the UFC, which is a good thing. That's why Lorenzo goes. He's the kinder, gentler side of the UFC, I'm just not good with that style. It's bullshit, absolute bullshit. It's political. I just can't stand it. So I just separate myself from it.
How did he say it?
Little Miss What's Her Name's not going to be too happy about what I had to say here today. You know what I mean?
How did he say it? Because obviously the sport's been legal in most of the country for a while, so you figure if they're not advocates of MMA by now, it's going to be hard to turn them. So how did he say it?
It's not that they're not advocates. We already won. We already, all the votes all went our way. It's not like this thing was.
Well, you said
this thing was
neck
and neck.
People he met with.
Yeah, he met with people that weren't for it. Most of the people that don't like MMA or don't understand it, they're not educated about it. If you educate yourself about the sport, most people think that don't like UFC think people die here all the time. I'm not shitting you. You ask some of these people, they think that people die all the time in the UFC. That's how uneducated they are. So you have to, this is part of what needs to be done. You have to go out and talk and educate these people on what this sport really is and who competes in it, and the list goes on and on. It just gets to the point where when you know why you're not getting in. If the fact was there were a ton of people up in Albany that were just completely uneducated about the sport and they needed education. I've been doing that for 13 years with reporters, with venues, with sponsors, television executives. The list goes on and on of the people that I've been doing it with. But when we're not getting in there because of dirty shit from the Las Vegas Culinary Union, it's just a complete, I have literally no patience for that kind of stuff, and I don't give a shit about the Culinary Union. These guys, I just heard that they're coming out with 2 new websites about me. Knock yourself out. You think I give a shit if you put up a website about me? The fuck do I care? You're spending your people's money to create websites about me. You don't hurt me. You don't bother me. It doesn't affect me one way or the other. It's just a complete waste of time and a crock of shit.
Does it frustrate you that professional MMA, legalized MMA, legislated MMA is obviously not legal, but amateur MMA is legal in this state?
Right. That's why I say it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's just crazy. And the thing that I hate about amateur MMA, there's no such thing. What it means is I can put on an event and don't have to pay the talent. So you cruise in under the the amateur thing. And there's events happening here all the time that are unsanctioned, dangerous, not good for the people who compete in it. But they'll let them put on events, but not the organization that actually is, fighters are being paid well. The amount of money that can be made in the city, and the list goes on and on. It's just such a bunch of bullshit,
Back to an earlier topic.
That's why Lorenzo should be talking about this stuff and not me.
Internationally, how do you think Mexicans, because they're very strong in boxing, do you think the MMA will be able to overcome boxing in Mexico?
Well, we're never trying to overcome boxing. Boxing's a great sport, and Mexico is what's really been, and Mexicans here in the United States have been keeping the sport alive for a long time. But yeah, we're going to start getting some really good talent out of Mexico. We're working on something down there right now too.
How do you think their level is now? Do you think they're at such a high level as you create here?
Yeah, some guys are, definitely. There's some guys that are. There's not as much talent down there right now as there is in the U.S. or Canada, England, some of these other countries, but they will. Mexico and Mexicans are people that love combat sports, always have and always will. And the UFC is going to be big down there.
Getting back to an earlier topic, when you guys envisioned the code of conduct, was there any, and its ability to suspend athletes who violated it, was there any sort of, guideline that you had regarding suspensions? If somebody violated it, how long they would get suspended for?
Yeah, they can be suspended for as long as we want them to be.
So it was really just up to your discretion.
Yeah.
Do you think 3 weeks is enough for Matt Mitrione?
Well, he's suspended for 3 weeks, but what does that really mean? In other sports, a suspension means you lose games. You're suspended for somebody. He's not fighting right now anyway.
Right.
So he's on suspension. We didn't suspend him for 3 fights, 2 fights. He was fined and he was put on suspension. Suspension meant we're going to look into this thing and we're going to talk to him, because when these kind of things happen, what happens normally, how this works is my Twitter starts blowing up. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what this happened? So that's normally how I first hear about things. I don't watch everything that goes on and hear everything that goes on. So then I start hearing about it, and people start coming. PR usually comes to us and says, oh, this guy just did this guy just said that. So I got to get the whole crew together. We sit down, we look at what was said, and we put together a game plan on what we're going to do.
You said he apologized to you. Do you think a public apology was in order?
Yeah, if that's what he wanted to do. I don't tell anybody to do anything. If a guy comes out and says something stupid, I don't go to him and say, here's what you're going to do. You're going to apologize, and you're going to do this and that, because you can't make somebody apologize. If I make him do it, it's not real. Then he's not really apologizing. And that's literally how I deal with people and how they handle things after they mess up. We're all going to make mistakes. That's normal. But how do you handle yourself after you make the mistake?
So I think he didn't want to apologize.
No, he did apologize. He said, I know that, here's, if that's his opinion on the situation, he doesn't like that somebody who used to be a man and became a woman can fight other women. And I don't disagree with him on that. I don't disagree. It's a lot different if you're a runner, a pole vaulter, any other sport, swimming, any of that stuff. But this is a combat sport. There's contact, and I'll leave it up to the athletic commissions and the doctors and scientists or whatever it is that to see if you have that surgery and you go through that stuff, if you actually become. But bone structure is different, hands are bigger, jaw is bigger, everything's bigger. I don't believe in it. I don't think that somebody who used to be a man and became a woman should be able to fight a woman. I don't. But the way he said it, if he was standing in front of a courtroom because he was so passionate about this, in front of a judge or a committee or something like that, he wouldn't have said it the way he said it. And maybe he thought he was trying to be funny. It wasn't funny. My guys aren't comedians, and they really need to figure that out and learn it. If you want to be funny and you think you're funny, do it with your friends, around your crew and everything else. Don't do it on any public forum. And then I had all the the hardcore fans going, "This is America. He can say whatever he wants." Shut up, dummies. No, he can't. Okay? Work for any company anywhere in the world and have an opinion and go out publicly and say it and start, degrading people and saying mean things to people and see how long you work there.
This isn't the first time you've had to talk about my guys aren't comedians. I mean, we all remember the Miguel situation.
Yep.
Does it surprise you that this, I don't want to say it continues to be an issue because it's only 2, 3, whatever times.
You know what? If you look at the NFL and other organizations, I got it pretty easy.
Right, for sure.
I'll take a bunch of comedians, and have to deal with that rather than some of the stuff some of these other sports leagues have to deal with.
When these kind of things happen, you just kind of roll your eyes and say, you know what, I guess this is something I'm always going to have to deal with once in a blue moon. It's always going to come up no matter how long we do this.
It's definitely going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. And let me tell you what, we live in a society now where everybody gets their fucking feelings hurt, okay? Like, you can barely talk anymore.
You're yelling at me right now, so I'm...
Yeah. Your feelings hurt?
Kind of.
Probably. I won't doubt it. But it's true. I mean, you can't even talk today without hurting somebody's feelings. It's going to happen, so.
With the... go ahead, Aaron.
Have you seen, just out of curiosity, the cover of Fighters Only magazine this month?
I did.
What do you think of the international Playboy?
Just wow.
Bruce Buffer, of course.
Wow.
Does that surprise? Is that who he is? Are you? You don't see this often. Do you like that kind of thing?
Wow. I mean, I don't even know what to say. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's interesting.
Why is it so interesting?
It's interesting.
Are you bothered by it, or do you find it amusing?
It's amusing. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I'm just.
I think it was better
when I saw it, it came, you know, because they shipped them to my office. I went, "Fuck, that's oh my god!" Then I opened it. I shouldn't have opened it. I should have left it shut. And I started to read it, and yeah.
Did you talk to him about it?
No.
Do you want to talk to him about
No.
Do you think it's better than your cover there a few months ago, in front of the car? Or?
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know. What cover do you think is better? I'm not saying the cover is bad. Like it's him. He's on the cover. It's just the things that are being said are.
Do you consider him a playboy?
I thought it was an April Fool's joke. I said, "Oh, cool. Fighters Only did an April Fool's."
Why would it be an April Fool's joke?
I don't know. Did you read it?
I just saw the cover, and then I saw that.
Oh, you should read it.
There was a
You should read it, and then you come back and tell me what you think.
All right.
Touching on the women's division, right now it's gotten really huge because of the acceptance of it. The 135 division. What are you guys' plans to expanding on it? Because right now Ronda's leading the pack and everybody's loving it. I mean, my girlfriend loves it. Every female I know that wasn't into it is now into it.
I agree, and you know, I'm blown away by how big it's gotten and how many people are into it now and into the women fighting. It's impressive.
Can you talk about Jim Miller and Pat Healy? Can you talk about Jim Miller and Pat Healy, what this fight would mean for Jim Miller?
You know, Jim has been right there so many times, you know. I think he's ranked number 3 or number 4 right now, and you know, obviously a win is going to be great for him and keep him. But for Healy, this is the biggest fight of his career. You know, he if he wins this fight on Saturday night, man, catapults him right into the mix.
You talk about guys that are right there. Michael Bisping, 34 years of age.
Yeah, he's been right there so many times too.
What do you think it is?
This
in
is
that last
this is a tough fight for him,
that?
man. This is going to be you know, that fight hasn't got as much attention as it should have. That's a crazy fight. It's going to be good.
But do you think it's a mental block with him, or it's just something about crossing that last hurdle, you know, to get into the championship fights?
It's just, you know what? Toughest guys in the world fight here. This is the, you know, this is it. And you know, you have guys. There's so many guys. If you look at boxing too, that have been great fighters, but could never get to that, you know, never win that belt.
Do you think timing as well has never really been on the side? You know, in the past, some of Anderson's fights, you know, Bisping could have got the shot, but he was injured, or I think that's gone against him as well, just that little bit of luck.
No, not really, because if you can't beat the guys to get to the guy, you're never going to be the guy. You know what I mean? He's got to get over that. He's got to win this fight.
Then after, I suppose, getting knocked out the last time, do you think he'd be a little more hesitant this time, or what way do you expect him
I think
to
so.
come out?
It's not really his style. His style is in your face. He goes for it. It's one of the things that I really like and respect about Bisping. He's a kill or be killed type guy. You're never going to see Bisping running around or trying to do any of that stuff. Bisping fights, man. You know, he's so popular because, you know, he's got an entire country behind him in England, and then he's got tons of people who hate him everywhere else. So if you're either watching Bisping to see him win or to see him lose, you know, Bisping's an exciting, interesting character and a good fighter.
Do you think it helps this card that, you know, kind of right as Chael and John were, I don't want to say dying down, but Chael saying, hey, John's this great guy and he's this and that, and being very complimentary of him, Bisping really ramped up the trash talk and the heat a little bit with Belcher. Does that make sense? Does
Say
that
that
help,
again?
Did it help sell this card? That Bisping's jacking it up a notch this week?
I don't know, because I just don't even think that fight's had the attention it deserves anyway. So
I think he may agree with that too, because I mean, like I said, he's really, we saw it happen up here on the stage.
Yeah, well, you should see, you know, we do interviews with these guys, you know, what, a couple months ago? A couple months ago you interview them, and then we start putting together the features. I don't know if you guys saw the one I tweeted out today, the feature on those two. I mean, that was 2 months ago. And they were talking so much smack about each other, it was insane. Yeah, these two don't like each other.
Has the build up for this card, given that it's, I mean, it's been like 8 months that we've been waiting for the title fight, if you take 151 into consideration when this first started getting talked about. Has the build up been what you expected it to be? Does it help or hurt?
No, it's been
to
great.
be this
I mean,
long?
People are hitting me up for, I can't give another ticket. I can't give another ticket to anybody. The floor is completely packed, you know? tons of celebrities, athletes. You know, people want to see this fight.
What do you think they want to see most about it? I mean, we know what the odds are.
Yeah, but the question becomes when you have a guy like Jon Jones is, can Chael Sonnen do something? Can Chael Sonnen get in there? I mean, that's what happens when you get these guys that go on these type of runs. It's what I think, and what I think is, like the George St-Pierre Hendricks fight, what's going to make that fight so big is everybody actually really believes that Johnny Hendricks will beat George St-Pierre.
If Chael wins, is that bigger than Matt Serra beating GSP?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, that's the debate right now, is which would it be between those two?
It would be a huge upset. And you know what? If you look at Jon Jones, I don't know if you guys saw the pictures of him this week, he is ripped. He is like in the best shape I've ever seen him in. And for me, I mean, that just goes to show me two things. One, he respects Chael Sonnen, and number two, he if there's anybody on earth he doesn't want to lose to, it's Chael. You know what I mean? So.
What do you think of his plan to fight once more at light heavyweight and to defend his title once more, and then to spend 2014 concentrated on super fights and heavyweight fights?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, he's proved that he's you know, he's one of the best in the world, maybe one of the best ever. And at some point, you get, you know, where you want to start challenging yourself, you know, some more. I think that's what will keep him motivated and keep him climbing. You know, if this kid fights till he's 30 and, you know, continues to win the way that he has, he'll be like 35-0. You know, that one doesn't count. I literally don't count that one. That one just drives me crazy. Incompetence put that one mark on his record.
Yeah.
Dana, I think you said yesterday that you officially inked the deal with Anderson for that 10-fight deal.
Well, I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
I mean, what is the deal?
I said we're right there. Yeah, I said, yeah, this thing's going to get done.
Okay.
I saw somebody wrote today, it's a done deal, signed, and no, it's not. That's not what I said. It's going to get done. The deal's going to get done, but it's not signed yet.
Do you see, I mean, obviously he's got the fight with Weidman, but let's say he's a 10-fight deal. A, do you think he'll stay for 10 fights? And B, at this point in Anderson's career, do you think it's more about legacy-type fights? I mean, super fights, big fights? Because right now the middleweight division's kind of an influx when you look behind Chris Weidman. We don't really have, you know, a #1 guy sitting behind him. Maybe Luke Rockhold if he wins, but I mean, do you kind of have a plan?
There's always going to be a guy. There's always going to be somebody there that's next. I mean, look how fast Johnny Hendricks exploded on it. I mean, Johnny Hendricks was fighting here, and then all of a sudden, Johnny Hendricks starts knocking everybody out, you know? There will always be a guy, and whether he'll fight 10 fights, which can end up being like 4 years, I don't know.
What would you say is the mentality and conditioning to be a champion?
The mentality, well, first of all, one of the things that I really love about the guys, you know, because people always ask me this question: is it better for you that the guys dominate and guys, you know, keep winning, or would you rather have the belt? The guys, I mean, look at Jon Jones. Jon Jones has destroyed the who's who of the light heavyweight division, and look at how seriously he's taken Chael Sonnen in the shape that he got in. You know, George St-Pierre is an absolute professional. Always stays in great shape, always evolving and trying to learn new things. You know, it does take a certain type of person and a certain mentality to be a champion. It does. And I know, you know, I know so many guys in this business that just don't have it.
Referring to the question earlier, why does it take so long for MMA to get into Mexico?
To get into Mexico, it's, you know, as we've cruised around the world, you know, Mexico was just tough. It wasn't an easy place to get done.
Well, what was that?
There's reasons. There's reasons.
Can you guys try
what
with Cain Velasquez when he won the title?
What?
Can you guys try with Cain Velasquez when he won the title?
Yeah. Well, we've been working on Mexico since the day we bought this company. You know, the three places that were no-brainers to me was the U.S., Mexico, and the UK. Traditionally, really big fight countries. But you know, the UK has been tough too. You know, look at the television stuff that's been going on over there forever.
Is that any closer than with Gary Cook working on it?
Yeah, it's going to get better.
What would you send the message to all the fighters internationally who are waiting for MMA to get in there to be just as big?
In Mexico?
In Mexico and around the world in general.
Yeah, I mean, the only real countries right now that are, you know, France, Mexico,
Italy?
Everywhere else. Yeah, Italy. Everywhere else is is open and ready.
What would you say to the fighters that are waiting for you to be there?
I don't know. We're coming. I mean, I'm working on it.
What are you saying with French right now? I was trying to check a little bit, and he was saying that there was something to do with the rules. They were refining the rules and getting the federation involved.
We've been working on France just as hard as we've been working on New York.
Are they forming a new federation that's going to be a part of the IMMAF?
Pretty sure they are.
What's so hard about the UK?
What's that?
What's been so hard about the UK in terms of
television deal? Just the television deal's been tough out there. I don't know. You know, there's reasons. You know, if I told you guys, I mean, I'll be fighting with everybody if I told you every reason. You know, it's just been tough. It hasn't gone as smooth as I thought it would. When we first went on television there, it killed it. I mean, it did great on TV, and then, you know, getting deals done with some of these guys just isn't easy.
British heavyweight Tyson Fury keeps saying he wants to fight Cain Velasquez.
Yeah. I said yesterday, he can come over here and get smashed anytime he wants. You know, we've already proved. You want to come over here and you're a boxer. We already saw how that fight ends. You know, so if you want to be the next one to come over here and get beat up on television in front of the whole world, I'd love to have you.
Is it a real prospect, that fight happening, or do you think he's just...
No, I just think he's talking shit. You know, he's picking a fight that he can't win, and he knows that. He just wants some attention. That's how you get some attention. Is you start saying, "Oh yeah, I'd knock this guy out and that guy out." If you want to come over, these guys aren't boxers. This is fighting over here. So if you want to come over here and fight, I'd be more than happy to set it up for you to get beat up on national television in front of the whole world.
Have you contacted him about it? So it's not gone any further.
No, I just heard that he said it, and I'm saying, give me a buzz. If you really want to do it, come on over. I'll make it happen for you.
Did you see his fight Saturday?
Nope, I didn't see it.
Yeah, he was knocked down.
He got knocked down?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
He won by knockout, but he was dropped.
Yeah, I didn't even know who he was until I heard this. Seriously, I didn't even know who he was till somebody told me that he said he wanted to fight.
He punched himself once.
Huh?
He punched himself once. It was a good fight.
During the fight, he punched himself?
Jordan punched himself too. It's great. Seen that.
It happens. Yeah, it does happen. It's funny, but it happens.
Can you give us
I've punched myself a few times too.
Can you give us an update on Rampage? Is this matching period expired?
That's Rampage. That's.
So he's gone.
He's been gone for a long time.
Okay.
On the code of conduct, are you nervous about having men and women in the house for the next Ultimate Fighter? Is that, you regret that decision?
It is what it is. We'll see what happens. You know, people keep asking me, what's going to happen? I have no idea what's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting. You know, you never know what you're going to get from season to season. Like this last season, we're all serious, hardcore guys. The fights were amazing. And then you get some seasons where, you know, guys are headbutting walls, and you just never know what you're going to get. So when you get men and women in the house, we'll see what happens.
Are you bolstering the PR staff?
What's that?
Are you bolstering the PR staff for it?
Yeah. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Definitely going to be interesting.
What does it mean for the sport and for the company that Fox Sports 1 is basically centerpiece in UFC?
It means a lot to me. I'm really, you know, when you think about the fact that we couldn't get you couldn't get on pay-per-view, you know, 11, 12 years ago, and now, you know, Fox is looking at us as, you know, the key piece to this puzzle to build the sports network. It means a lot. And I'm gonna work hard and do everything I can to make it work.
You told me in Montreal that you guys needed to have a conversation with Dominick, see where he's at. Did you guys have that?
Yeah, we had a great conversation with Dominick. He's good. He's feeling healthy, and he's training again, and he'll, you know, he's going to keep his title, and when he comes back, he'll defend it.
Does he have a time frame on when the doctors are telling him he can come back? So I know he said before, they keep telling me do this and come back in 6 weeks, and then I go back and they tell me 6 more weeks.
When he calls me and says he's ready, then.
But his title's good. And it would take another injury for you guys to say, you know, we got to move on.
If he got hurt again, then we'd have to say, you know.
Would Barao or Wineland defend once in the meantime? Whoever wins that fight in June?
I don't know. I don't know.
Just depends on when he's coming back.
Yeah.
And you announced yesterday that, well, not you personally, the UFC, that Misha Tate and Liz Carmouche will be on Fox in July. Was that, did you have, you know, because sometimes they were saying, oh, the women aren't ready for Fox, you know, and the first fight if Fox would put on a fight, a women's fight, it would probably be Rousey. Why did you go with that fight? Was there some kind of discussion as to that fight being the one that should be on?
We just made that fight. That fight's been made for probably a week now.
But to be on the main card on Fox, that's the first women's fight on Fox. So no special discussion about that, just another fight.
Yeah. Yeah. A women fight here, it's just another fight.
Dana, it's only been a couple days since Daniel Cormier fought, but he said yesterday he's still making the decision with his team. I know you've always said you don't tell guys where to fight, but seeing his performance and seeing where the heavyweight landscape is right now, would you prefer him to stay at heavyweight? I think a lot of people like him at heavyweight.
Yeah, I actually prefer him at 205. You know, this heavyweight division isn't like other heavyweight divisions. And in saying that, I mean, he beat Josh Barnett. You know, it's a big deal. I just don't think he has the punching power at heavyweight that he would have at 205.
If he dropped to 205, would he get like an immediate, I'd assume immediate contender type fight, like a Gustafsson or something like that?
Yeah, he could drop to 205 and get a shot at the title, in my opinion.
Day one?
Day one.
Speaking
yeah, look at the guys he's beat at heavyweight.
Do you think that could be, I mean, nothing against Lyoto Machida, obviously Gustafsson's out there, but when you think about what Daniel Cormier brings to the table, the fight with John Jones, they've had a little bit of history in the past, a little beef. I mean, do you think that's maybe a bigger promotable fight than anything else? Again, nothing against the guys you have. I'm just saying, do you think that's a bigger promotable fight possibly?
I don't know. It's not like Cormier looked like a world beater last weekend. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Speaking of Barnett, any update on him? Any renegotiations? Any
nothing.
At the table?
I haven't heard a word about him, from him, or anything. I don't know what he's up to.
What was that holdup? Pro wrestling?
I don't know. For some reason, Joe couldn't come to a deal with him. I don't know what it was. It was going good, and then all of a sudden it took a left turn. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, the third women's fight in UFC history, Sarah McMahon, Sheila Gaff. Are there going to be cards with multiple women fighting? Or are you still kind of just testing the waters, throwing one in there?
We're not testing the waters. No, we're putting on. We're making fights just like we do with the guys. Yeah, we don't even look at it that way or think that way anymore. It's just we make fights. That's it.
But just happen to be one on the card, so it could be more.
Yeah, it could be a card where there's more than one.
The July card has two.
Yeah.
Oh, the number.
Yeah.
What do you think's first? 145 for women or 125 for women in UFC?
I don't know. I'm just focused on 135 right now. I'm not even thinking about other weight classes right now.